What's up, guys? We are on the 6th shelf of my horror sci-fi section. We are starting off with Final Destination 3D. Includes the 2D version. Like the lenticular cover for this. I'm a big fan of these movies. They're always kind of original in the way they come back to death coming to get them. It's a nice premise, like it's something an entity you can't stop, which makes it real fun to watch. My favorite one was still the third one with the roller coaster, but definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen before. Then we have Children of Men. Great movie. One of Clive Owen's better movies, in my opinion. Julianne Moore and Michael Caine also did great in this movie. Great original kind of science fiction, premise. Great. Yeah, look at that. Even Charlie Hunnam and Chetwell Edgefor is in there as well. Great cast, great idea, great story. Very well written, very well directed, very well acted, very good all around. 100% check this movie out if you haven't seen it before. Then we have Timeline. I loved this movie. Richard Donner did a great job with this movie. I love the cast. I love the idea. Affecting time in the past and modern day people versus medieval people. I mean, great movie. Love this movie. I'm going to have to upgrade this. I don't know if they have a 4K for this or not. Then we have The Forgotten with Julianne Moore. I saw this in the theater way back when it came out. I loved it. It was a very tense movie. A test of a mother's will and all that type of stuff. So, definitely very good, especially for its time. I mean, this is one of those movies that would stand up still today. Then we have a classic Will Smith movie, I, Robot. Loved this movie as well. Visual effects were second to none in this movie. Very well written. Good directing. Like I said, one of Will Smith's better movies in my opinion. Then we've got War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. This movie was okay. I don't think it was as bad as people said it was. Was it the best movie he's done? No. But it wasn't the worst either. I enjoyed it. It's a fun watch if you're looking for something that you haven't seen before. I mean, it definitely has a budget. The sound is amazing in this movie. The visuals are amazing in this movie. So, in my opinion, I'd check this movie out if you haven't seen it before. Then we have Mission to Mars. Solid movie. I enjoyed it. Gary Sinise does well here. So does the rest of the cast. But I mean, this came out the year where, studios seem to do kind of the same movies each year. At least one type of premise. And Red Planet came out the same year as this, and so did Ghosts of Mars. So, I mean, there was a lot of Mars movies this year. So, but still a very good movie. Should check it out. Then we have Imposter with Gary Sinise. Love this movie as well. Very good original idea. Very good cast. I was a fan of this. I know it didn't do too well in the theater, but I was a fan. Then we've got the original Universal Soldier. Classic Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren here. Was a big fan of this movie. A unique idea that hadn't been done before. I've not seen the TV series or the TV movie ones of this, with like Burt Reynolds and Gary Busey and all that stuff. Comment down below if you've seen those, if those are worth checking out or not. Then we've got Universal Soldier: The Return. I enjoyed this movie as well. I thought it was just as good as the original. Bill Goldberg did great. Michael Jai White did great. It was the ones after this one that were really, really difficult to watch. Then we've got Minority Report with Tom Cruise. Another great Tom Cruise movie. You know, great story. Tom Cruise is best. I like Colin Farrell in this movie as well. I mean, just an all-around solid movie. You know, it's probably a little better than War of the Worlds. Then we've got classic Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Sixth Day. You know, with two versions of himself, of course. You know, nothing beats twice the Arnold. But, you know, I was a fan of this. You know, I guess I'm biased. I'm a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. So this and End of Days and Collateral Damage, you know, they were towards the tail end of his movie career before he became governor. I was a fan of these movies, but, you know, like I said, I'm biased. Then we've got Jumper with Hayden Christensen. Again, another solid sci-fi movie. You know, 100% worth watching if you haven't seen before. You know, it didn't do, you know, blockbuster ridiculous business at the box office, but it's still very solid original idea. Then we have The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie, so I don't remember a lot of the specifics. I do know it's a remake of an older movie. But I'm going to have to check this one out again. And I know a lot of people in the community were saying that I need to check out the original. So I might have to add that to my watch list. Then we have Signs with Mel Gibson. This is probably M. Night Shyamalan's best movie, in my opinion. I love this movie. You know, very tense all the way up to the very end. When the alien was holding his kid and all that stuff it was some scary stuff. You know, especially for its time. So, very good take on this genre. Then we have Species. Solid movie, great sci-fi idea, great cast. You can't say anything bad about the cast. I mean, I only seen 1 and 2. I've not seen 3 and 4. Comment down below if you've seen those, if those are worth checking out. But I do love the ones here with Natasha Henstridge in it. So the second one I thought was better than this one. Then we have Avatar. Not a fan of this movie. But, you know, the visuals are fantastic, so it's just one of those movies that you got to have in your collection. You know, it's a long movie, but it's definitely, the story's not there for me, but the visuals are. So, for visual effects alone, I guess I'd recommend this. Story-wise, I would not recommend this. Then we've got Ender's Game. This was a movie I bought a few years ago on a Black Friday. I wasn't expecting much out of it. Wasn't a fan of the book. Watched this movie and I absolutely loved it. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be that good, but I was very happily surprised that it was very good. I mean, I wish they would have made a sequel to it because I think there was more than one book, but they never did. I don't know what kind of business this one did at the box office, though. Maybe it wasn't worth their return. What studio did this? Summit. So maybe when Lionsgate bought them out, they didn't feel the need to make another one. Then we have Gravity. I loved this movie. The idea of someone being stranded in space alone is very interesting. You know, I'd never seen that before. And with these two actors, George Clooney and Sandra Bullock, it's, you know, wow. And I believe Ed Harris did the voice of Houston too, just like he did from Apollo 13. But yeah, 100% worth checking out if you haven't seen this before. Then we have The Crazies. This is the remake, obviously, not the original. I loved this movie. Great. You know, I wouldn't call them zombies, but I don't know what was going on. Some kind of virus. But it was a very original idea. You know, it started off slow and then kind of just got more and more crazy as it went on. But yeah, you should, if you want to be scared, you should definitely check this one out. Then we have After Earth with Will Smith and Jaden Smith. This movie sucks. It is just as bad as people say it is. Not M. Night Shyamalan's best work. The visual effects are there, and that's about it. Not the greatest movie ever made. Might be one of the worst, at least for the budget that it had. Then we have Project Almanac. I enjoyed this movie a lot like I enjoyed Butterfly Effect, the idea of time travel and going back, but messing up your current timeline and all that type of stuff. Big fan of this movie, very well done. Check this out if you haven't seen it before. Then we have John Tartar. This one kind of gets a bad rap. It didn't do well in the theater because Disney kept pushing it back for some reason. And then they released it in February and it flops because no one goes to the theater in February. So you put a huge budget movie. Why they wouldn't have just pushed it back into the summer, I don't know. But I thought this was a very solid movie. Very enjoyable. The visual effects were there. Story was there. You know, so this was, the reason this flopped was because Disney didn't really think through when to release it. Then finally we got 12 Monkeys with Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt. Very solid time travel sci-fi-ish movie as well. You know, worth checking out if you haven't seen it before, about going back in time, stopping criminals and stuff like that when you're a criminal yourself. Kind of thing, because that's your punishment or whatever. Very, very good. Very interesting directing as well. So worth checking out if you haven't seen it before. But that'll do it for this shelf. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe. Your support is much appreciated. I'm also over on Letterboxd. The link is in the profile of this channel. Otherwise, until next time, guys.